Hello, my name is Nicolas Polimanakos. I work behind the scenes here at NORWAC, the Northwest Astrological Conference that is happening May 22nd to the 26th, just outside Seattle, sold out in person, but available online to anyone in the universe. You can dial in and watch all the lectures that are going to happen there that weekend. You go to norwac.net to see the speaker lineups, the schedule, and the registration, so on and so forth. Colin Bedell, hello.
Hello, Nicholas. How are you?
I'm great, Colin. I before we started this video, we were talking about songs
Yes,
and and that I was a Slytherin person.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
and
right. I mean, you're gonna have to
yeah,
show
you
come on.
know,
It's not just you're the snake. We got a Slytherin prefect over here.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's the
come
color
on.
green though. It was the green that
Good
got
on you.
that's
It's good on you.
Colin. You are speaking at the NORWAC conference, two lectures.
Yes,
The first one is on Saturday, May 24th, 9 a.m. The Saturday morning keynote, may I add.
that's right.
Okay. And it's called Safe, Free, and Fully Alive: Astrological Leadership in a Crisis. Tell us a little bit about this. It's interesting.
Yeah, well, the backstory is I started learning about really progressive ideas on leadership last summer and not knowing where the election was going to go. But obviously, we're in the middle of what feels like one collective crisis after another. And I just realized that sometimes myself and other astrologers feel really under-resourced when it comes to ways in which we can support other people with our craft in times of crisis. And, we're besotted with natural disasters, political upheavals, and I think sometimes there can be this feeling of, oh, how do I make sure that I help as best as I can, hopefully. And so, what I wanted to do was just sort of present a summary of ideas from some of my favorite scholars in the field on leadership, Donald Winnicott and John Piero Petrielli, to name the two, so that astrologers feel, oh, all right, so it might not be necessarily perhaps predictions or horoscopes that is the most competent, but in fact, a very different set of skills, which you will find out in the lecture, because no spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, but I really like what you're touching upon here because I think too, as anyone who's going to be there in person and watching online, you're at a certain level with astrology. You wouldn't be going to an astrology conference if you wouldn't trying to get deeper into it. And
Right.
whatever you would consider a level at, I know I'm a counseling astrologer, one-on-one consultations. Even if I think about the last 5 or 6 years, pre-COVID to COVID and now, the way my consultations have changed and the tools I've had to bring in because there is what I'm seeing as the astrologer in the chart, and I'm looking at the transits and forecasting and all the techniques. And then you're in talking with somebody, and half of it goes out the door because you're dealing with someone who's in a present situation emotionally or a certain part of their life. And
Oh,
that doesn't just, you don't just talk about that for 2 minutes. The person opens up with you, and you have to understand the space you are with somebody and what they're carrying into. So I know you know what I'm talking about here.
100%.
So I think something like this to talk about is in the community and stuff as a keynote. I think it's a really good lecture, Colin.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. And thank you, Laura, for allowing me to do it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, and Sunday you're having a second lecture in one of the tracks at 10:30 a.m. track on Sunday the 25th. The name of your lecture is the 2025-26 Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries,
That's right.
from worry to wonder and panic to progress.
Yes, yes. I swear I'm not some kind of crystals and rainbows, positive vibes only astrologer, but I have studied under Stephen Forrest, who discusses that we don't predict futures, we create them. And when I think of Saturn and Neptune entering Aries, I believe that we have this incredible opportunity to actually leverage that kind of cardinal zero point of Aries to initiate a whole new way of living, right? I think life force is something that really animates my work. And I'm so thrilled to talk about it because what I'm also noticing in the field is the more that we, those involved in astrology and not, predict, manage, and try to control uncertainty, we flatten life force, we flatten aliveness. A known world is a dead world, says Hartmut Rosa. And so, what I want to do is discuss the Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries, not purely from this, good vibes only place, but from the fact that I do believe Aries introduces aliveness. And what does it mean for astrology to be a catalyst and a generator and an animator for other people to feel fully alive? Because to quote Aries, Joseph Campbell, the comparative mythological scholar, he vehemently disagrees with the fact that human beings are allegedly searching for meaning. He says, no, no, we are interested in the full rapture of full aliveness.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and that
that's what
happens in many different ways and stages, and I think like an initial stage, the initial feeling of aliveness because of Aries being the first sign and what it rules and how it wants to enter the world here. I think it is with Neptune, Saturn, Neptune's fascinating situation we're about to enter in the next couple of years, and it's that weekend of the conference that Saturn will ingress into Aries too. So it will be,
yeah.
I think, the talk amongst people, whether it's the lecture that you're doing, but I think in disperse in the conversations at the conference, it will be
Yes.
there, you
It's
know.
in the fields, yeah. And I was born under, not almost exact, but close, the last Saturn-Neptune conjunction we had in Capricorn in 1989. So that this very transit, this very conjunction is in my moment point, and I'm excited to kind of stand from
Yeah.
that place and get curious about ways in which we can think of the astrology of, once again, aliveness when we are surrounded by collective violence and collective deadness.
Yeah, which I mean, in my opinion, just what you said there to me is more than an opportunity. I think when things are challenging and stuff, we are in our old ways of survival structures where we go to try to deal with things, where we initially go, and then we realize some of those things do not work like they used to before, and then we try to find, can we find the new something, the aliveness,
Yeah.
to move forward, even when it seems in the most challenging, toughest times. And I think those are amazing places where that spark happens, it's something new comes in
Yes.
and let's say the discipline behind that. So you're also part of a Q&A just for people out there who are thinking of attending the online part of NORWAC. We have these Q&As that happen between the lecture tracks. So every single person who's lecturing at NORWAC is part of a Q&A. These are done online. You get to ask questions as being in the Zoom room or in a chat room. You're a part of a Q&A that happens on Saturday at 5 p.m. It's Kristen Fontana, yourself, Wendy Stacy, Kira Sutherland, and Kim Marie Weimer. And I think Laura is going to facilitate that one. I'm facilitating some other Q&As. Um, this is all part of the way NORWAC does their online conference.
Mhm.
There's the Q&As. There's a room that's always open for people to hang out in. There's a
Love it.
Saturday night party they're doing online, which I'm going to drop in like I did last year. We're even opening up the room on Thursday just as a pre-funk. But there's all these types of things that happen on the online. Again, if you're interested, you go to norwac.net. You could see the schedule, the lineups, everything. You also, let's say you were to purchase the weekend, you have 2 weeks after the conference to watch all the lectures.
Great.
So if you want to watch Colin 30 times,
I don't know why.
yeah.
I don't want to watch me once, let alone 30 times.
Yeah,
So,
but again, you can watch all of that. There's also pre and post conference lectures too. You can buy those a la carte if you needed to. Let's say you
great.
just wanted to go on one day and that's what you can do. You could do that also. Just go to norwac.net for all the information. Colin, before we go,
Mhm.
I'm gonna throw a little surprise question at you.
Okay, but let me just say, wonderful one, two, threes, breakdowns, Zoom rooms, breakouts, pre-funk. Come on, Gemini boy. I love
Yeah.
it. We
It's
were
a
also a minute early. Can I just kiss our
yeah.
ass together and say that
Yes.
you believe that us two Gemini boys showed up 60
Proof.
seconds before the start time?
Yes, we did. And we get a bad rap for this stuff, but it's
Yes.
like, but yeah, there's certain things you show up for, and we were both, yeah,
Early
yeah.
and ready to go.
I'm
Okay.
always that way with my clients, with the rest of these
Fine.
interviews that I've done. I'm
Right.
right there. Like,
Well, the irony of us being in the business of time and not knowing how to manage our time.
yeah.
Like, come
Well,
on.
and then if we are late, we're not late. We're just, it's just something else. It's just,
It's a transit.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There was something else
Sorry.
going on.
Yeah, that
So
exactly. Well, Yeah. Anyway, back to your question.
Yeah, no, that's funny. It's interesting too because you know that weekend of NORWAC, not only are we gonna have a Saturn ingress in the Aries, but Mercury will be zero Gemini. It's on the Sunday and Monday that comes in, and then I think we do a lunation on the Monday. I think we'll be in a balsamic moon phase because then there's a
Oh,
new
right.
moon that happens on Mondays. Interesting transits for the weekend.
Yes.
Saying
Okay.
that, Colin,
Yes, sir.
when was your first time at NORWAC?
Oh, don't make me cry. Me and my Mars in Cancer. It was May 2016, and I was one of the Bridging Divides Scholarship recipients, thanks to Samuel Reynolds and Lauren Albandian. And so it was 9 years ago. And it absolutely transformed me because, of course, I knew that there were practicing working astrologers out there because I was constantly consuming their contributions. But to be in the same room as them and just chat with them and get to know them on a personal level, I mean, it really changed the course of my life. And when I saw the embodied awareness around this and was learning how to speak about it with professionals, I think it became that much more uh, possible and plausible for me to do it as well. So that was one of the single greatest life-defining decisions I was ever able to make. And it was made possible through Sam, Laura, and the generous contributions of other people. And I think about it regularly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where we met. It's where we met, and
Yes.
and you know, if I think about, did you say 9 years?
Yeah,
Um,
2016.
yeah, what has happened? I mean, with the conference, and but many people that have gone through to the conference have come through the scholarships itself, and how I've seen their practices grow and their astrology grow just as people. And you're one of those people, Colin, right? And then I've also seen you speak at other conferences and whatever. And here we are, you know, you're doing a keynote on a Saturday. And but you know, again, I think when it comes to community, when we recognize each other in certain ways and we get to speak our language and create a space for something like that, anything can happen from a place like that. So I thought I'd throw that question at you because I remember those times.
Me
I
too.
remember those times, and those not just you, but there's many other astrologers who there was their first time there, and they've gone on their trajectories, you know. So
Who
yeah,
are still family to me to this day. I think that's what's so phenomenal is like how that opened up just so many different pathways of possibility that feel completely miraculous then and now. And so that's my hope for everybody who gets involved with NORWAC, is to just consider the possibility of so many different possibilities, and hopefully it can give their life greater depth, vitality, and improve their relationships as well. But I won't get on my soapbox about that.
no, I mean, and you get on your soapbox about that because it's inherently good for everyone. I
Yeah.
think, again, you know, even when we're dealing with hybrid models now, because there's pl many people out there who aren't able to show up in person, for
Correct.
whatever there's good reasons. And so,
Right.
can you have the spirit of what we're talking about blend in person and online? And I caught this over the years when we were doing the online NORWACs during the pandemic, or you know, like last year in the chat rooms and the conversations we're having with people. I saw people intermingling there and they felt comfortable and they were able to find other people to converse and speak this language. In the end,
Yes.
even though astrology has become immensely popular, I mean, in the last 5 or 6 years, it is a billions of dollar industry. In a sense, too, you're still sort of off to the side, as some will say, like outcast. And
Mhm.
you know, when you and that's fine. It's you know, but when you do talk with other people using this language online or in person, whatever, there is something you never know what's going to happen. Just for basic, beautiful human exchange, but also the knowledge that comes through, right? You always are learning something. And
Yes.
so, you know, again, I mean, if I remember you 9 years ago where you were and where now, I've watched a couple of lectures of yours. I've learned things from you, and I don't know um, uh, how many uh, book titles and authors I've scribbled by listening to your reels or your videos when you're dropping authors, but just that alone, you know, stuff like that happens. So anyway,
Thank
um,
you, Nicholas. I think
yeah,
the highest praise from a Gemini is, oh, I should read that book. Right?
yeah, no, it's always, and that's a whole nother video books. But But Colin, thanks for coming on and chatting.
Well, thank you for all that you do. I know that you say you're like behind the scenes. You are behind in front. You are all over. So these events wouldn't happen without your work, without Laura's work, without Jen and others who are doing so much to create a space for people to come together on and offline. And when we get to witness astrology relationally, it just does so much to change the way that we experience it. So thank you
Yeah.
for all that you do and everyone else on and off the NORWAC mat. And I can't wait to see you in Seattle very soon.
Yeah, and yeah, no, thanks for saying that, Colin. Again, for anybody who is interested, go to norwac.net. You get all the information there, the speaker schedules, the lineups, and everything else. Okay. And so on that note, Colin, I'll see you soon. Okay. And bye,
Ciao.
everybody.